Hi guys, just firing up my RST. It's filthy. I ain't cranked it in a while. Yeah, I've been working a lot. Haven't been able to do an update. Haven't been able to do much work around the house. The last 3 weeks, work has been relentless. It's been crazy. So I've been knocking down some serious hours. But anyway, I'm actually thinking about selling the RST, and it's an 04. Thinking about getting rid of it and taking that money and putting it into the tractors, because it was my driver, my baby, my toy. But with the company truck and in the other truck that I have here, and in my wife's truck, and I got my Blazer, you know, I really don't have time to drive it and that, and it's kind of just basically it's just rotting away, and I really don't like it. I would rather sell it and let somebody that's young get it, that'll take care of it, spend a little bit more money on it, and really do it up. But boy, does she got a sweet sound. Love her sound. But yeah, it's just you know, I just don't want to see it wasting away here. You know, when I was driving every day, it was one thing, it was nice, but I haven't been able to drive her in almost 2 years. You know, so boy, she sounds sweet. Miss driving her though. It's dirty as can be. But yeah, seriously thinking about getting rid of her. I hate to, because they're really rare, especially an all original RST. It's really hard to find them. The last one that went on sale was a few years, and I mean years ago. You know, so you know, to run across one is really rare. But she does need some TLC. She needs some cleaning. She needs to be rode. She needs to be driven and ran. Boy, she just sounds so sweet. It's been about, I don't know, a month and a half since I fired her up. I had to put the battery charger on her. So cold snap has really got into it. So, but she needs some TLC. She needs to get dressed up, ran, get cleaned up, and drove on a regular basis. With all that said, do a quick update on the Massey. So we did our 50-hour oil change and 50-hour service on it, and everything on her. There's a couple of things I want to give a 50-hour review on it. There's a couple of things that I love about it, I fell in love with about the tractor, and there's some things that you know, and I'm probably going to get some people pretty upset, but you know, what it is what it is. It's reality for me, especially since I'm the one that paid for the doggone thing. Yeah, I have noticed here, I sent it, we brought it into service and had the hydraulics checked out, because it just didn't seem right to me. I watched many videos and talked to other people that had them, and they didn't seem to have the slowness response on the hydraulics that I was having. So I brought it in, had some other little things tended to and that, and they tested and they said, you know what it is, it is. I got it back, and when I got it back, they had it for a couple of weeks. When I got it back, and I'm not saying that the dealership did anything, I'm just saying when I got it back, I noticed a lot of slop in the front end loader, which I rarely used, you know, and in the backhoe. And considering it's just a little over 50 hours, kind of concerned me, because it was, I mean, a lot of slop. The hydraulics, a lot of slop. I mean, just a lot of freaking movement, front, back, just everywhere. You know, and I don't know if this is going to be a real problem, you know, but it's got, I mean, look at that movement. A lot of slop, everywhere. And the front end loader, I've never, I mean, I put the backhoe under some stress. I did some stuff on video, you know, But I will say this, everything I've done on video with this tractor has been videotaped. 95% every minute that's been on this tractor is videoed as a document. I don't post them all them hours of video. I go through, edit certain parts, and grab what might seem to be good for video, and I put it together. But I've videoed just about 95% of every minute on this tractor, everything that I've done with it on video to document, what's been done and what's not been done, so that I will not have no warranty issues. Because I've been down that road before with some equipment, and so I said, well, since we're gonna do the videos, we're gonna video every minute on this thing, and if I have a warranty issue, it's on video, and there's no arguing with with Massey or the dealer or whoever, because it's on video. I ain't gotta explain it. I can just pull up the video and show them what it's doing. So I have spent, like I said, about 95% of all the time that it's been on, I've been on this thing, it's videoed. So, and in my opinion, which I know dealerships and factories have a different opinion than me, I haven't done nothing with the tractor that the tractor wasn't built to do. Now, I've done some things, which is on video, that the tractor probably wasn't sized right for, but look, you can take a small tool to do a big job if you got the skill to work the tool. It doesn't matter the size of the tool versus the size of the job. What matters is the skill of the operator of that equipment, that tool. And, so yeah, I've done some pretty big stuff with it that, like them stumps, the last video we posted up, them stumps probably about almost half the size of this tractor, and maneuvered them out, and without stressing my machine. In no time was my machine ever stressed. You didn't hear it stressed. You didn't see it stressed. So I'm just really, really curious about all this slop. And then my uncle is a retired hydraulics, I would say engineer, designer. He designed hydraulic systems and worked on big hydraulic systems for some of the larger companies like Anheuser-Busch and that. And I'm gonna bring it to him. I'm gonna let him run through it. And if he tells me there's an issue, that something's not right, then I know, because he's got both the documentation and the years in the field to prove he knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to this stuff. But with that being said, let's go over the things that I do like about this tractor. All right. One of the things I do like is its drivetrain power. This tractor has got a phenomenal drivetrain power. Very, very strong. The lifting capacity of, I haven't stressed the front end loader yet with anything heavy yet to know if it meets its lifting capacity or not. But I have, and which y'all seen in the videos, I have put the backhoe to a serious test. In what I would consider serious test. And to me, it passed. It's slow. And speaking of, I hear the new late models, 2017s and 2018s, Massey Ferguson stepped up the flow rate on these things, as well as added to the height of the steering wheel 1.5 inches. And then they got rid of this seat and went with more comfort fitting seat on the new ones. So so I guess they kind of heard some of the stuff that people were saying, and they stepped up to the plate on it and really did some stuff with it. So the new ones with the better flow, and that might work better than this one. But with this one, like it is, like I said, I just wish it would be a little bit more responsive on the backhoe. The front end loader seems to work just fine. You can curl the bucket as you're raising it. You can dump as you're lowering. It seems to work really well. So other than that, it runs real good. Cold start real easy. I finally took off the backhoe and the front end loader for the first time the other day. And it was fairly simple, real easy. Popped them right off, had them both off in no time flat. We did the 50-hour service on it. We did the oil in the front end, the filters, motor oils, transmission, all that. And Von Berg is where I bought my motor oil and that. They shipped it right to me. Really appreciate that, Doug. Advised me on what I needed and what I didn't need to deal with right now. Probably keep buying all my stuff through him from now. I'll pay the extra money for the shipping to come all the way here to Louisiana. But he was straight up with me. He was honest with me. So if you're around where Vandenberg sells tractors, you might want to give them a call. They seem to be straight up guys. You know, he could have told me anything and he would have sold me anything. I would have bought whatever he told me to get. And he didn't. He was honest with me. He was straight up with me and told me exactly what I needed and what I didn't need and what I needed to do for the 50-hour service to maintain my warranty on this thing. So I really appreciate that. But you know, other than that, like I said, yeah, I'm happy with it overall. I recommend it. If you get a good enough price on it, I do recommend it. Now the new ones that's coming out, I also understand that they, you know, the price is also with the new additions. You get a new price. So I don't know what they're going to be going for yet. I haven't seen it yet, but I would say if the price is still within the ballpark of the Kubotas, the John Deeres, that the tractor's worth it. Especially with the bigger couplings they put on there, the better flow on the hydraulic system. I would say I still would buy one. You know, I would buy it, and I would definitely buy this one again. I just, you know, like I said, and I'm gonna figure out what's going on with this one, and I'm gonna get it working the way I want it to, one way or the other. If I gotta spend money out of my pocket to do it, or if I can get Massey to do it, whatever it takes, this thing is gonna get to where I want it to be. I didn't spend this kind of money on it for not to. So one way or the other, I'm gonna get it. I'm not the type that settles for this is just what it is and this is what you're stuck with. No, we don't. I don't. If I'm gonna pay money, I'll pay even more money to get what I want. So you know, so one way or the other, I'm gonna get it figured out, and you know, we'll help with some family and friends, and hopefully a lot of you guys on the internet. You know, we're gonna get this thing figured out, and I'm gonna get it where I like it. But I do highly recommend it, and you know, it's been 50 hours. It's still not a long time with the tractor. I am concerned with the slop, like I said, with just 50 hours of working on it. I'm gonna look into some way of kind of, I don't know, spacing them out or something, because if the more slop you get, it's kind of progressive. The more you will get, it'll just keep getting worse. So if I can do some spacers and fill that up and keep it from banging around too much, or you know, try to figure out what's going on there. If it's the metal quality is a little too soft, I don't know. Or the pins, you know, changing out the pins, you know, whatever that's going to take as well, you know. But I don't like all that slop. It rattles around now when you drive. It just clangs around now like crazy. And the backhoe is the same thing. I mean, it's got some serious slop in it. You know, let's see what we can do here. I mean, that's crazy. Crazy. For 50 hours, 54 hours, yeah, a little crazy. But it doesn't affect its strength. Now, let me make that clear. It doesn't affect how strong this backhoe is. It doesn't affect, you know, it's noisy, clangy. It sounds like it's 50 years old. It says 50 hours old. You know, I'm going to deal with that one, you know, find some way of dealing with that. But, and get the tractor where I want it. If I get the tractor where I want it, I'm more than happy. I mean, I'm happy with the tractor. Drivetrain power is enormous in this thing. Lift capacity on backhoe, awesome. The strength of the backhoe is awesome. The front end loader for what I've done with it so far, you know, backfilling and scraping down, that works extremely well. You know, it just, a couple of little issues. Something else too, on these boats right here, a lot of the people, when I was looking at these, was saying they sheared some of them off because they came loose and they was unaware of it, and the boat sheared off and they had to replace them and tighten them up and to check them regularly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the boats out. They extend about that far on the inside, the threads, they thread to the frame itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of them off, and I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna go to a boat place, and I'm gonna get some lock washers and nuts that fit them. And I'm gonna bolt them back in and then put the lock washer on the inside and the nut and then lock it down, because since it threads into the frame and you put that lock washer in it, you double nutting it basically. And hopefully, because I did check it at the 50-hour service, and this side only had one that was loose, but the other side, the left side, they were extremely loose. All of them except for these two right here. The ones that go through here, they were loose, and then these four were really loose. Some of them were really loose, and then these two were loose. On this one, these two were tight. On this one, the only one that was loose was this one right here. It was a little loose. It took about a half a turn to lock it back down. The rest of them I couldn't budge. But I'm gonna double nut them. I'm gonna stick that lock washer on the inside, because it's got enough thread sticking through the frame to put a lock washer, and then put a nut on the inside and tighten it up from the inside with a wrench, and basically double nut it. And I think after that, I don't think they're gonna loosen up anymore. But I will. That's something I will keep an eye on and keep checking. You know, and I think I'm gonna do the backhoe as well. Check its subframe bolts where it bolts up. And make sure that it's all nice and tight. So, but I just wanted to give y'all an update and a 50-hour review on the tractor. Still not disappointed. Just like I said, I got some issues with it. You know, I'm the type of person, I own many vehicles. As you can see in my yard, I own several different vehicles, Fords, Chevrolets. I've owned all kinds of vehicles all my life. I've built hot rides, I've built race cars, I built all kinds of stuff. You know, so when I can go down and buy something used that's fairly wore down, and I can look at it and tell that I can restore it for a fraction of what it would cost me to buy one brand new, and have just what I want, I really come down hard on when I walk into some place and buy something brand spanking new and paying top dollar for it, and it don't live up to what I can do with something that's old. I know, you know, the older stuff back in the day, people had pride in their work, and the quality of materials was much better than that. And your money don't buy you much anymore these days. But if you want to have a business, and you want to have a reputation, and you want to keep selling a product, you either got to offer one of three things: fantastic pricing, fantastic quality, or fantastic service. There is not exception to have a mildness on any of them three. You got to have one of them three hit the fantastic mark, and that's all there is to it, or you're pretty much sunk. Because even though things cost more these days and you're getting less than what you used to get for the same money, people still have the same attitude, or at least I do, about what I'm spending my money on. If I got to go out there in that heat and in that freezing cold and bust my ass to get that money, and I got to hand it to you, I better have something in return that's worth every minute I spent sweating my butt off to get it, to give it to you. That's how I feel about it. If I can bust my butt to buy it, they should be able to bust their butt to build it. That's my attitude with it. You know, because like I said, I have built many vehicles. You know, that truck right there was a total. I rebuilt that one. I bought it cheap, rebuilt it, had no issues with it. You know, I have rebuilt many projects. I've built many show cars and that. You know, my first hot ride was a 66 Chevelle that I pulled. It took me, my brother, and some friends of us 3 days to hack the weeds just to get to it, to pull it out with a wrecker. You know, and it had no motor. The only thing it had was the body, the doors, the glass, dash, steering wheel, and that was it. That was it. And 5 years later, the car was a dream car, you know, and I know what it took to put it that way. I know what it took to build the motor that we put in it. I know what it took to put the interior in it, and the door, everything in that car. I've done it repeatedly times. You know, I bought cars for $50 and turned around 2 years later and sold them for thousands of dollars when I was done with them. So I know what it takes to put into something that you're building. From the ground up, or from you know, brand new. So yeah, that old Chevrolet right there is a good example. I bought that old Chevrolet for $3 grand 12 years ago. That old GMC still running. That old GMC's, the mileage stopped on that GMC about 13 years ago when the guy had it at over 300,000 miles. I took that truck right there to California. I took that truck, I pulled my show Blazer with it, which the speaker box alone in that Blazer weighs 750 pounds. It takes 4 men to pick up that speaker box, just the box alone. Pulled it on the trailer. We've pulled it to car shows, to Mississippi, all over the place. And that truck's still running. And it still drives every day. It still runs like a dream. Now, it's got a 350. Some people are really about the LS and that. It is an LS motor that's in it, but it's a 350. That's all that matters. It's a 350 Chevrolet. It's a 93, and that sucker still runs and drives every single day. I would not hesitate jumping in that truck and taking that truck clean across this country. I know what that truck can do. I trust that truck. I drove that thing every day for over 10 years. And that's what I'm talking about, where the difference is where when you got something that you buy that's worth having and it's there 20 years down the road, that's the difference in quality or the service you get when there's something that does go wrong or you need to get it fixed. These are the differences that make companies. And today, companies are really starting to take advantage of their customers, in my book, a little too much. So they really need to start looking back at history, what took them to make them, and in my opinion, what it took to make their. Toyota built their whole company on their reputation of building vehicles that could hit a million miles, without major breakdowns. Now, Toyota has some issues. I mean, Toyota has got recalls left and right. They're trying to go the old-fashioned, this newer way of build it cheap, build it fast, get it out there, and then we'll deal with the warranty issues later. And it's starting to ruin their name. And once your name's ruined, you might as well shut shop. And that's in anything. Once people get word that you ain't worth dealing with, or that you're overpriced, or that you're selling junk, you're finished. You're out of business. You might as well shut the doors down. And American companies need to really get back to that. Get back to building something that's worth having. Now they build it and they design flaws into it so that they can keep turning it out and turning them over. They really need to get away from that because it's ruining them. Yeah, you're selling today, but if one company comes along and does it right, you're done for. You're history. It's going to happen so fast you won't even know where it hit you. And that's what these companies need to start really doing, is getting back to what really makes a company. And that's one of the three things: fantastic service, fantastic price, or fantastic product. You can't have a medium on them three things. You've got to have a top. So, but anyway, enough rambling on. Like I said, it's just I've been wanting to do some work. I got plenty to do. Just haven't been able to get to it because of my job. Oh, that baby sounds good. Makes me want to go for a ride. But anyway, guys, look, stick with us. I got more videos coming. We're gonna do more work, and like I said, I don't know. Maybe you'll get to see me do a few donuts in the RST before I get rid of it, if I decide to. I ain't sure yet. I'm debating. Y'all have a good afternoon.